I'm scaling a cliff more than 1,000 feet in the Dolomites, Italy. I'm climbing one of the world's hardest climbs on Tre Cime with my Spanish climbing partner, Edu Moran. We've been on the wall since 7 a.m. It's now nearing 7 p.m., and we have waning light. We've been delayed due to an unexpected hailstorm that rolled through the valley, where we had to find scant shelter under a crevice in the rock to wait out the pelting ice balls before we could continue up the next section of the wall to where we are now. We now have 200 feet of climbing left in front of us until the summit. What's remaining is the seemingly easiest portion of the rock cliff. However, it's also the most perilous. To the point that we are at now, we veered slightly off route unintentionally to a part that's never been climbed before. We are looking for a place to attach our rope, any sort of bolt or piton to put our rope into to secure safety. We search for a place, we look for a 30-foot section, but we're unsuccessful. We can't find any point of security to put our rope into. We're initially optimistic, however, at this point, we're standing on a tiny cliff ledge, paralyzed and unsure what to do next. We do not have many options. We are in striking distance from the finish. However, where we are on the wall, we can't go back down. We can't rappel because primarily there's nowhere to rappel from. We can't even find a place to put our rope into the rock. And furthermore, the rock is extremely loose and untrustworthy. The Dolomites are a mountainous region of northern Italy. The rock is not really like El Cap in Yosemite. Instead of being a hard, trustworthy granite, instead it's a malleable limestone that breaks frequently. Think plaster ensconced on a 90-degree angle. We are stuck with no place to put our safety rope, yet we have to make it to the top. We have 200 feet left to go. Now, our two options that we have to make it to the top are to either simulclimb, which would mean that we can proceed upwards attached to each other, so that if one of us falls, then we have a slight chance of survival by the other person. If one of us falls, then the other person could by chance catch that force of gravity and hold on to the wall and save the other. Realistically, this is unlikely to happen. Realistically, we may both fall to the ground. Our other option is to both untie, to avoid the rope from catching in between us, to both be in control of our own lives. We decide to untie and to proceed upwards. If I fall 1,000 feet to the ground. But this is our way to get to the top, to descend the other side, to be back down to safety. The ground below us is a dark void of space. We are free soloing a vertical cliff at 1,000 feet. Now, what I primarily do in my climbing career is free climbing, not free soloing. The difference between free climbing and free soloing is that while free climbing, you have a rope and you have safety points in the rock. If you fall into the rope. The chance of fatality is very negligible. However, while free soloing, if you fall, the chance of fatality is almost a mathematical certainty. What keeps me from really wanting to free solo are the uncontrollable variables that nature has to offer, such as rock breaking. In the Dolomites region, the rock seems to break more often than it seems to stay firm to the wall. However, now I don't have a choice. The only way to the top is to do this. I must focus on my breath and be present in the moment in order to be at the top. I breathe and I think, go confidently. You have to. You've got this. This is until a crater-like rock that I have with my left hand and my left foot rips from the wall, and I feel the wisp of the rock as it falls into the dark void of space below. All I can think of in that moment is shift my weight to my right side and stay on the wall. The moment is a decade. Life is on pause. Time expands. I am focused solely on searching for a new place to put my left hand and my left foot. I must find a solution. I am hyper aware of my surroundings. My heart is pounding in my throat. However, there is no escape. At this point, there is no reset button. Thinking about what I should have or could have done is wasting energy. Being nervous is wasting energy. Complaining about my situation is wasting energy. I must focus my power of my mind on the present moment and figure out how to proceed to the top. I must finish the task. I take a few breaths and I tell myself to go, to believe. I find my rhythm and I find this exquisite state of calm. This state of calm is a matter of survival. Finally, we arrive at the top, and I embrace the solid, horizontal surroundings, and I tear with cries of relief. However, darkness was quick to come. The rain is turning to snow, and we're standing on top of a mountain that's at 9,000 feet elevation. All that we have are soaked, wet, thin jackets, a Kit Kat bar, and a Red Bull left. We are standing in the howling wind, searching for the descent. The only light that we have is from the narrow cones of our headlamps, which are dying. The one thing that I do have, though, is phone service. So I call the esteemed world-renowned mountaineer, Alex Huber, and I explain the situation. And I say, Alex, how do you get down? And Alex tells me in his German accent, oh, Sasha, you must sleep at the top. This is crazy. There is no way that we are going to survive if we sleep at the top. We are freezing and cold and unprepared. Until we realize that it's too dangerous to descend. We've looked for the descent for hours in the shivering cold, but everywhere we go, we face the bottomless drop of the side of the cliff. So we huddle together and we try to get warm. Then we try and sleep. And after what feels like the full night of trying to sleep, which was really probably about 2 hours, we continue to look for the descent, desperate. At one point, deliriously, I fall asleep because the next morning, I wake up huddled against a rock. And with the morning sun, I open my eyes, thankful for the light, except when I open my eyes, I see that I'm huddled against a rock on the periphery of a bottomless drop. I'm glad I didn't move in my sleep. Though, fortunately, now we have enough light to continue down and find the descent successfully. So after about 3 hours of rock scrambling and rappelling, down rock tassels, we're hiking back to the mountain hostel. Each shower costs €5 and lasts about 5 minutes, and I take 3 showers. Looking back at this moment, the only way to survive was to fixate on what I could control. The moment when death was closest was the moment when I was most calm. I could not afford to think about what could go wrong. I only had one option. I had to focus on the task in front of me. The only thing that I could control was my next move, to be present in the moment. Thank you.